I suspected my wife was planning a divorce, so I moved my assets. 2 weeks later, she filed, then panicked when her scheme backfired. Hey Reddit, before we start, I just want to say that this is our new channel, and we're really working hard to bring you the best stories. So make sure to subscribe and support us. Let's start the story. I had always trusted my wife, or at least I thought I did. We had been together for nearly a decade, built a life side by side, and while we had our ups and downs, I never imagined she would betray me. But then, something changed. At first, it was subtle, longer hours on her phone, hushed conversations that stopped the moment I entered the room, a distant look in her eyes when we sat together at dinner. I chalked it up to stress. Maybe work was overwhelming her, or she was dealing with something personal she wasn't ready to share. But then, I started noticing bigger things. She began asking odd financial questions, things she never cared about before. How much was left on my business loan? What percentage of our home did I technically own? Was my savings account in my name only, or was it joint? These weren't casual questions, they were calculated. A chill ran down my spine when I realized what was happening. She was preparing for something, and my gut told me it was divorce. My friends told me I was overthinking, that maybe she was just getting more financially literate. But I knew my wife. She had never cared about this stuff before, and now she was suddenly interested? It didn't add up. I decided to do a little digging. One evening, while she was in the shower, I checked her tablet, which was synced with her phone. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the messages. She had been talking to a divorce lawyer for weeks, mapping out her plan. But what really made my blood run cold was her conversation with a friend. She wasn't just planning to leave, she was planning to ruin me. Her words were clear as day. She was trying to make sure she got the house, a huge chunk of my assets, and even part of my business. And the worst part? She thought I was clueless. She told her friend that I was too trusting to notice, and that by the time I figured it out, she'd already have everything set up in her favor. I felt sick. This was the woman I had loved, the woman I had supported through thick and thin, and she was treating me like nothing more than a stepping stone to a cushy post-divorce life. But if she thought I was stupid, she was about to learn otherwise. I wasn't about to let her blindside me. That night, while she slept peacefully beside me, I got to work. I met with my own lawyer the next morning and laid everything out. He told me the best thing I could do was protect my assets before she could make a move. So I did. I transferred my business ownership into a trust, moved my savings into an account under my brother's name temporarily, and made sure all the property under my name was legally shielded. It wasn't fraud, it was protection. I wasn't hiding money from her. I was making sure she only got what she was actually entitled to, not the ridiculous payday she was expecting. 2 weeks later, she made her move. She sat me down one evening, put on a fake sad face, and told me she wasn't happy anymore. She wanted a divorce. She tried to act like it was amicable, but I knew what was really happening. She thought she had everything lined up, that I was going to be blindsided and left scrambling. So I played along. I nodded, sighed, and told her I understood. I didn't argue, didn't beg. I just let her think she had won. And then, a week later, when she officially filed, she got the shock of her life. Her lawyer contacted mine, expecting to go over the division of assets, only to find out there weren't any assets to divide. At least, not the ones she thought she was getting. My business? Not technically in my name anymore. My savings? Gone from the account she had access to. The house? Protected by a legal trust that made it untouchable. She had assumed I was an easy target, that I would just roll over and let her take what she wanted. Instead, she was left empty-handed, with only what she was legally entitled to, which, thanks to a solid prenup she had conveniently forgotten about, wasn't much. That was when the panic set in. Suddenly, she wasn't so sure about the divorce anymore. She started acting sweet again, cooking my favorite meals, reminiscing about our good times together. One night, she even broke down in tears, saying she didn't know what came over her and that she just got scared about our future. She begged me to reconsider, to work things out. But I wasn't an idiot. She didn't suddenly regret her decision. She regretted getting caught. She thought she was going to walk away with half my life. And when that plan blew up in her face, she wanted a do-over. I told her no. That's when things turned ugly. She started accusing me of hiding money, of being deceitful, of manipulating her. She even tried to bring up old arguments, as if she could paint herself as the victim. But it was too late. I had the messages. I had the proof. And no matter how much she screamed or cried, the reality was simple. She had tried to screw me over, and she had failed. But the nightmare wasn't over yet. If anything, it was just beginning. Because when she realized she wasn't getting what she wanted through the courts, she decided to take matters into her own hands. And that's when everything went from bad to worse. I thought that once she realized her plan had failed, she would just cut her losses and move on. I had underestimated just how vindictive she could be. When she saw that she wasn't walking away with half of everything I had built, she went from fake apologies to outright war. If she couldn't take my money legally, she was going to try and ruin me in other ways. It started small. She began spreading rumors among our mutual friends, claiming I had cheated on her, that I had been emotionally abusive, that I had drained our joint account and left her with nothing. She played the victim so well that, at first, people actually believed her. Friends who I had known for years suddenly started acting cold toward me. Some even sent me angry messages, calling me a liar and a manipulator. But what she didn't know was that I had already prepared for this. Before she even filed for divorce, I had saved copies of everything. Our text messages, her conversations with her friend about screwing me over, even screenshots of her planning how to drain my accounts. So, I started sending those receipts to the people who mattered. One by one, her lies started to crumble. People who had been fooled by her crocodile tears suddenly realized they had been played. Some even apologized to me for believing her nonsense in the first place. And when she saw that her little smear campaign wasn't working, she lost it. That's when she escalated. She started showing up at my office, making a scene in the parking lot, screaming about how I had ruined her life. My employees were stunned. She had always acted so sweet and polite around them, but now they were seeing the real her. Security had to escort her off the property more than once, and after the third incident, I had to file a restraining order. That only made her angrier. She started sending me emails, switching between begging me to take her back and threatening to make me pay for what I had done to her. And then, she did something I never expected. One night, I got a call from the police. They told me someone had made an anonymous report that I was engaging in fraudulent business activities and that I was hiding assets illegally. I knew exactly who was behind it. She couldn't beat me in court, so she was trying to bring the law into it. But once again, I had already covered my bases. I had done everything by the book when I moved my assets, following my lawyer's advice to the letter. When they investigated, they found absolutely nothing illegal. If anything, they found proof that my ex had been the one attempting financial deception by planning to take things she wasn't entitled to. When she realized that had backfired, she made one last desperate move. She tried to break into my house. She still had a key, but after she filed for divorce, I had changed all the locks. That didn't stop her from trying, though. A neighbor called me in the middle of the night to tell me she was outside, banging on the door, screaming that I had ruined her life. By the time I got there, the police were already on the scene, trying to calm her down. She was a mess, hair disheveled, makeup smeared, and completely out of control. I didn't press charges that night, but I told the cops to make it clear to her that if she ever pulled something like that again, I wouldn't hesitate. And that was the final straw. She finally realized she had lost. There was nothing left for her to take, no lies left for her to spread. The divorce was finalized soon after, and she walked away with next to nothing. The last I heard, she had to move back in with her parents because she had no real income of her own. The lifestyle she thought she would maintain after the divorce had disappeared, and reality had hit her like a truck. As for me, I moved on. It took a while to fully clean up the mess she left behind, but once it was over, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. She thought she was going to destroy me. Instead, she destroyed herself.